What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we are in the Pathfinder right now, heading over to my boy Moose. We are going to be working on the fuel basket, so stay tuned. Once we get there, I'll go over kind of everything that we need to do and hopefully not mess it up. Worst case, I do have a part out car with another basket inside of it, but I would like to just do this once and be done with it. So let's get over to Moose. We made it over to the Moo residence. My dog helping me out today. Sick ass build over here. As always, you guys have seen this on the channel. Just got it back up and running, so ready to see the streets. And then over here, my dog.
What up?
We got the basket. So where everybody seems to drill is right here in this little area. Underneath obviously is this webbing that we pretty much have to file down, make smooth, so that the washer that goes on the bottom side sits flush. But again, I'm gonna go more into detail once we have everything apart. To remove the basket, it was just, I believe it was 6 8mm bolts. So you just pull that off and then the whole thing slides out. I'll show you more in depth on that once I put it back in the car. But for now, this is essentially what you're gonna pull out. There is a line that you need to disconnect, which comes off of right here. That stays in the tank. And yeah, so we're gonna start taking everything apart, show you exactly what we need to do, and then hopefully get it back in the car by the end of the video. All right, guys, so we took off the bottom portion of the basket. As you can see, it has these little sliders that they just clip over here and kind of keep the basket into one piece. So you'll see these little springs. You're gonna want to keep them on the little, whatever you want to call that, but just keep them handy. I took them off so that they're not in the way. First things first, what we're gonna be doing is taking out the Venturi valve and drilling it out to 7/64, I believe was the drill bit size, so that it doesn't give us any problems, you know, with fuel. I've heard that if you don't drill that out, you may get low fuel pressure at idle, and then you know, obviously it's just gonna cause issues for you. So I'm gonna pull that out. You probably need like a set of pliers just to wiggle it out, and then you drill the portion that's facing the inside of the basket. So not that side, this side, right over here. Once that's drilled out, you know, obviously clean up the area, put it back in there, and then you're solid. After that, we will go ahead and move on to kind of scoping out the location of where we're gonna drill to put the return line. I gotta pop the regulator out. So the regulator is in this little piece here, I believe. And then once you pop that out, you put in the little adapter piece that they have here to get rid of it. So again, I will update you guys as we do everything. I'm trying to be as thorough because this for me was one of the harder sections when it comes to this fuel system. You know, running lines and stuff like that, I mean, you can kind of figure it out, but this is obviously where you need to pay attention and kind of do things right, because if you fuck it up, you fuck it up. So let's get into it and see how this goes. All right, so we got the Venturi valve out. So as you can see, it's not drilled, it's stock. That's how it should look. Make sure to have that O-ring on there when you put it back in. But we're gonna probably set this on a vise and get it drilled to the appropriate diameter of hole, you feel me? All right, guys, so you know, every time I open the camera, I say, all right, guys. Every time, bro, I swear to God, I'm gonna make a shirt that says, all right, guys. We got the hole drilled out. You don't wanna go crazy, you know, just pretty much enough to where like the drill bit will end right here, so that way this whole little thing is the same size through and through. But yeah, so you can slap that back in. Now we're gonna move on to the next portion. Okay, so we're back. I went ahead and took off the little cap here that covers the OEM in tank regulator. So you take that off, and then this, again, you pull it out. So when you're taking these things off, you have to be very careful. I mean, this is old plastic, it's brittle. So your small flathead will work. You know, obviously be patient. Don't try to rip everything off. But this and a pair of needle nose pliers, I mean, these are the long boys, but these will work. These are your best friends right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, and what you'll see is that when you pull that out, it gets replaced by this piece right here. I believe, whoa! Sorry guys, there's a murder going on over there at the bug zapper. But what you'll see is that there's 2 O-rings. So that slides into that port and it deletes that whole regulator. And then this feed right here on the line, or return, whatever you want to call it. But this right here, this port, is what connects to the bottom of the line here. And then it routes up in the basket to our connection up top. So like I said, I'll go more into depth, but just so you guys get the layout of everything. So we got that pulled out. Be careful because it does take a little bit of pressure, and these O-rings are, you know, pretty old. So this is what you're gonna essentially be removing. This is the OEM style regulator that is in the tank or in basket, whatever you want to call it. But you see here that you got the thick O-ring at the bottom and then the small O-ring up top. So here on this piece you have the big O-ring and then the small O-ring. So that's gonna get pushed into there. I can't do it with one hand, so let me get that all squared away and then I'll show you what we're working with. Okay, so here we have the return line. I went ahead and disconnected it right over here. So just to show you, so obviously this fitting is what sits outside of the basket, and the washers are what separate the fitting between the top hat. So you'll have one washer up top, one washer on the bottom, and then you'll have this nut right here. So once the nut is tight, you will go ahead and screw this line onto here. Obviously make sure that's all tight so that, you know, it doesn't leak within the pump or within the basket. Okay, so we dremeled out enough. Obviously, I'm gonna go a little bit more just to make sure everything is good. But a good way that I learned online was to put the washer down, kind of get it where you need it, mark a hole inside of it, and then that's gonna be pretty much your center point to drill out. So we have that there. I'm gonna Dremel everything else kind of around it to make sure everything is smooth, and then that'll be our starting point. I think you can see the Sharpie mark on the other side. So we'll mark it kind of somewhat there in the same center and drill that shit, which is kind of the most anxiety part. But yeah, let's get this shit off and finish up. All right, so I got this little circle marked here and I got the circle marked on the bottom. So just gonna send it. I mean, you know, ain't nothing to it but to do it. So I know you guys might be thinking, oh, it's really close to the connector, but realistically, this is how it sits in the car. The feed is coming here, connector's coming here, and then as you guys saw in the last video, the return line is literally like sitting right here. So I'm thinking bada bing, and she's good to go. So now there's no turning back. I'm gonna send it. We're gonna start with a small drill bit, and then this, what I was told, needs to go up to 9/16. And then we have the little step bit there. Shout out Chris for this, or shout out Sean.
Facts.
But yeah, so that'll make life easy. So I'm gonna start with a pilot hole and pray. Probably better ways of doing this, but you know, mechanic. Oh, she's drill bit sliding, man. Drill bit sliding. Oh God, we're dancing. Oh, my lances. Okay. Oh man, why is this shit so greasy? Hold up.
grease fest. Yeah.
A little bit more of a dry surface. Looking.
Look at Sharpie doing good work.
For real. Alright, come on, just fucking bite. Oh my.
Let me get you the center punch, bro.
Oh
Stop it. Get some help.
Alright. We'll see. Oh, it worked.
Center punch, let loose.
That worked, man. There it is. Alright, so we did go with like a small bit to get it. It was the 7/64 that we used for the Venturi, or Venturi, whatever. Drill that first, and then we stepped up a size bigger. On Z1's kit, it showed that this hole needed to be 9/16. Obviously, this is a CGM kit, not a Z1 kit, so I'm kind of just trying to figure it out as we go. Chris luckily had a, what is it, micrometer?
Yeah, micrometer, yeah.
So he was able to get the actual size of the fitting that is going through the top hat. So we're gonna just go to 1/2 inch right now, for now, and then kind of work as we need to see if it fits with the 1/2 inch. And then obviously we have the Dremel, so we can kind of make it fit as we need. So let's just keep stepping up and sending it. Oh, got some grip. Pause. Fucking baby in this plastic ass shit.
Yeah, I would too.
I was like, how much do I need to give this bitch?
It is quick. It does step real quick.
All right, let's just for reference see where we're at here. Ooh. Oh, if it fits, I'm cleaning it with the Dremel.
I would do the same shit.
Yep, it fits.
Good shit.
So what did we get to? That was.
You can scratch it with a drill bit if you need to.
I think it was 7/16.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was 1.
Yeah, because it was before the 1/2 inch.
2. Yeah, so 7/16.
Yep.
Money. Sensational.
Yeah, that's good to know because that's a lot different than the Z1 kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot smaller.
Yeah, I would have fucking had this shit fucking floating around.
That's huge.
Well, $14 at Home Depot.
Take that
We'll go
right
get that right back. All right, so we're money. So now, I'm not gonna put everything together, but I'm gonna just give you a quick little mock-up because I gotta clean everything. I'm gonna get a new, what is this called?
Strainer.
Strainer.
Fuel pump strainer.
And the OEM, well, not OEM, Z1 actually sells a upgraded grommet for the fuel pump. So I'm gonna get one of those as well. So just to show you real quick for reference, so that washer is gonna slide right there onto the pump, or onto the adapter. This nut is what brings this tight. Obviously, I'm not gonna go ahead and tighten it yet, just because we still got stuff to do. But to give you reference, this goes right here, and then this hose goes right here to the little fitting that you guys saw me install. Another thing that we're gonna do real quick that we have the Dremel is I'm gonna Dremel these little fins out, so it makes the routing of this line just that much better. So since we're here, I'm gonna do that, and then we'll get it home. I'll get the new parts, clean everything out, spray it down, you know, brake clean, kind of the whole 9 yards. But overall, that was the biggest thing that gave me the most anxiety, was drilling that hole. But we're in there, she's good, it'll lock down tight, and yeah. So let's shave these down. I'll show you the end result, and then once we get back to the house and get all these new parts, I'll show you everything before we put it back into the tank. All right, guys, so from the last clip, you saw that we went ahead and drilled the hole in the top hat. So now we have access for the return line to feed through there. I took it all apart. Obviously, right now, the fuel pump is out. And look at what we noticed is when we took the fuel pump out, this little grommet, which is a known factor to go bad. A lot of people say to upgrade to like an early style G37 basket, because I believe it removes this whole thing. I didn't want to go through that hassle. I just wanted to use what I had. So we do need to replace this, because this is a common fail point, obviously, with different fuels and stuff like that. So I went ahead and ordered a new sock and 2 of these, just to have one as a spare. But you'll see right here, this is from Z1. Supposedly they're upgraded. I don't know how much of an upgrade it is, but whatever. Those are ordered. We're gonna put one of those on, and then I did get a new sock for the fuel pump. So let's get everything buttoned up so we can finally put this back in the car. All right, guys, so got everything all wrapped up, which is nice. Got the new grommet, new sock on there. So let's get it installed into the housing, and then I am gonna probably take some compressed air and just kind of spray everything off while I go ahead and finally install that return line for the final time. So let's get all this buttoned up. All right, guys, so before I put this thing back together, I just wanted to show you how everything was routed. We got the return line up here, drilled through the top hat, ran down to that little regulator delete, clamped on there, everything is good. I did modify the this little cap on the bottom of the fuel pump. It kind of holds it up. I did just Dremel it down a little bit just to make my life easier getting this thing on. So yeah. New sock is on there, so now we can just put everything together and put it back in the car, connect all the lines, and be done, and then test for leaks and stuff like that. So let's keep cracking and get this into the car. All right, we got the basket back in the tank. Everything is buttoned up in here. It's kind of hard to see, but we got the return line all tightened up, feed line's good. My car already was wired to a relay for the fuel pump, so obviously I'm not going to show you guys how to do that, but with the swap and everything, I had that done already. So I just tested it right now just by turning the key. Nothing's leaking. My next step is probably going to be just unplug the coil packs and just crank it over, try to build fuel pressure, see what we set it at. I think they set it, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think anywhere between like the 50 to 55 range is the base fuel pressure that you want to set. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so everything along the bottom of the car is all zip tied up and nice. And then also in the clips prior, I did talk about the evap and the breather. So I went ahead and got a check valve. As you guys can see here, all I did was just put the check valve and then a little breather. So that's your breather for the tank. So that way it still breathes like normal. On the evap side, I just took off the hose, capped them on both ends. So that's all good and deleted there. Let's get cracking on unplugging the coil packs, setting base fuel pressure, and making sure we have fuel pressure and no leaks. Right now there's no leaks, but obviously once you crank it up and there's a little bit more pressure building, that will expose any leaks if there are any. So let's keep cracking, get everything dialed up so we can finally check off the fuel system. Okay guys, well, let's get this video closed out. I did go ahead and crank the car, unplugged all the coil packs, and everything did work great, no leaks whatsoever. The only thing is I wasn't building fuel pressure yet. So I'm not too sure why that is not happening. I got to look into it. I spoke to one of my friends. He said maybe connect the vacuum line to the regulator, but I don't think that you need that just to start it, or just to, you know, get it to build fuel pressure. I'm not too sure. But anyways, I asked a few people, so I'm just waiting on some responses from them. But all in all, nothing leaks. Everything is technically working as it should. If there's any issues with it, maybe it's something inside of the tank. Obviously, we'll pull that out and address it if that is the issue. And if it is, I'll include that in the next video so you guys can see where I messed up. But yeah, all in all, happy that that's done. Now, next step on the build, I'm just gonna be ordering a bunch of heat management stuff, kind of make everything land where it needs to stay and where it's gonna be routed. So that way, once the kit's on, we know everything is safe, secure, and no risk of, you know, fires or anything like that. I also am gonna order a fire extinguisher kit. There's a company that makes a couple nice ones where they just bolt into, you know, pretty good locations that they're easily accessible. So yeah, so next episode is mainly heat management and just safety in that aspect, so we can take care of that. Moves are being made. The kit is already, if not now, shortly will be after this video, getting taken off the 370Z that it's on. So that way, once it's off, I can get the car down to Miami and start putting the kit on and kind of figuring that out. Along with heat management, in the next video, I'm more than likely going to be taking the whole front end off, just so that once I get down to Miami, there's a lot more space on getting things installed. And we are ditching this radiator. I have a whole new setup that I planned out to mount on the car. Got to get it fabbed up to get the mounts done and all that kind of stuff, but that's going to be after the fact. Main things are fuel system's done, heat management on everything, take it down to Miami, get the kit put on, come back, finish up, you know, radiator and all the stupid little miscellaneous things. But yeah, we are moving in the right direction. I'm excited for the future. I hope you guys are too. I know you want to just see me doing pulls and taking the car to the track and all that stuff, so some of this stuff may not interest you, but this is all the hard work and things behind the scenes that make these cars work. So I hope you guys are enjoying the process. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.